Hey there, good morning. We're early today. We're early today because it's Memorial Day, and hopefully people have lots of good things to do, runs to get done. Today here in Boulder, Colorado is the Boulder. So I wanted to start, it's a little bit early, but for this episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about that massage gun that you guys all have sitting on the counter or whatever. And if you only, just first step, keep it out and in view. Don't put it away. So keep it charged and keep it on the kitchen counter, or keep it next to your chair, or keep it where you keep your foam roller if you use your foam roller all the time. So here are my favorite couple of places to use the foam roller. I can use it while Melissa's cooking dinner or anything like that. So I have a few of them, but this is one of my favorites. It's the Junior, the Theragun Junior. It's just super small. It has 3 different speeds, and it's pretty nice. So the first place that I'm gonna always use this is going to be right at the top of the quad. So I might go into extension on the right side, super easy to do in the kitchen, and just add a little bit of that massage percussion therapy into the top of the quad, especially with the hip open and extended. So that's going to be the first place to just spend a little time with your massage gun. And I have bought a lot of massage guns, so the bottom line is I use what feels good to me, but I think generally, if you like the way it feels, you've got a good massage gun. So we're starting with the hip and extension and just working through the top of the quad. The second place I'm going to go is going to be to the belly of the calf muscle. So I'm just going to go into that 90-90 half kneeling position and go right down the middle of the calf. Right down the middle. So if you've seen a bodybuilding show, and you can see there's 2 parts of that gastroc, you go up into the back of the knee and just drag it right between those 2 calf muscles. While I'm there, I'm going to hit a little bit of that lateral calf and play a little bit in the anterior tib. So right up in that lateral aspect of the calf. For me, that lateral line is really an important part. And then that fibular head, which can become very stuck, I can just kind of play around right in there. So 90-90 position, work through the belly, through the center part of the lower leg. That's going to just help ensure that I get really good ankle mobility. All right? Through that lateral aspect a little bit, and then through the anterior tib, right there. Okay, then we're going to go into the standing position, and from here, we're just going to rotate the hips, push the hips back a little bit, posterior, and also lateral. So we've been doing a little bit of that shifting in Monday mobility. So here, we're going to rotate across, push the hips back, get that massage gun going, and just work through that loaded glute med. So we've rotated the hip across, the right hip to the midline. It's not over on the midline because we're pushing the glute out to the side as well. And we're going to work all through that. And believe me, if you just feel that, the way it feels is going to guide you. So left side, rotate that left hip across, push the hips back and lateral, and then we're just going to work through that glute med. Right through to that sits bone, and then right across. So those are my favorite lower body part of using a little massage gun for your percussion therapy. All right, let's start sitting down. And the first thing we want to do is just really focus on some really good nose breathing as we go through this session. So try to keep your mouth shut, and I can't because I'm going to be talking and working with you. But let's go ahead and get that foam roller just below the calf muscle, and you're going to just stick with nose breathing the whole time, okay? So just keep breathing, nose, and be conscious with your breath work this morning. All right, so we're just going to windshield wiper through the lower leg, just below the calf muscle, left side, right below the calf muscle, right side. Just windshield wiper, turning it from in to out. Want to make sure we get really good foot function. All right, from there, let's go back to the left side, foam roller just below the calf, and we're just pointing the toe and flexing. So point the foot, flex the foot. 3, let's go 10 reps there. Keep nose breathing. 5, 6, 7. Really point hard, find end range and end range, end range to end range. Good. Over to the right side, point and flex, 10 reps. So hopefully you're up early with me and maybe hanging out live, but if you're not, I hope you have a really great day and really pay attention that when you start your day with mobility and movement, how sometimes your day can just be a little bit easier. 8, 9, and 10. All right, from right there, I'm going to get you right up and standing. Keep nose breathing. Recognize if there's any signals that your body says to breathe through your mouth. Try to resist that. Slow your system down and just go ahead and maybe take one breath. Exhale through the mouth and then just go right back to nose. Okay, because this is a relatively gentle session on Mondays. All right, right here, let's just push through the knees. We want the knees going over the toes and coming at you straight ahead. You want to make sure that your knees aren't pulling out. If they are, pull them into the midline and just gently end range. That means it's comfortable. You can feel when you get here that your body's stopping you. Right? So pay attention to that. Don't push. Just take what it'll give you. Push those knees forward. You want to kind of warm the tissue up on the back of the lower leg. And good. Okay. Now, you can do this against the wall if you have a wall. If you don't have a wall, just do it with me free standing, and then we'll change it later when you can get on a wall. All right? So this is I call these wall grabs. You're going to go right foot in front of left. You're going to take your right cheek, put it on the wall. So the right ankle is on the wall. The right cheek is on the wall. Left arm in front, right arm behind. Everything on the right side of the body is on the wall. From right there, we're just going to take the arms up and down. Keep that right knee on the wall. Good. So if you're doing that just freestanding, right leg back, make sure that you just keep a 50-50 weight distribution, arms out, and you're just going to rotate side to side. Keep your head nice and straight, and we're just moving that way. Okay, let's get the other side. So we're going left side on the wall, right leg in extension, so we've got it back. Right cheek on the wall, right arm in front. I don't want to take my arm out or my poster out there. You might notice my left elbow's a little bit bent. I'm feeling that a little bit in my left shoulder. So take what your body will give you. Anytime you've got mobility going, right here, you want to take what your body will give you. and good. All right, back down onto the ground. Nice and easy. We're going to work through the penguin. And the penguin is just a very gentle hip lift. It's a very subtle movement. So laying on your back, we're going to take the arms out to the side and just gently lift the right hip off the ground, push the right heel into the ground, and come right back up. You should get a pretty strong contraction on the back side of the body. So when you lift your left hip, you're going to get left hamstring, left glute, and then just come back. And it's a very subtle, small little lift. Push the heel into the ground. Stand really long through the belly, focusing on that nose-nose breathing. Good. So this is giving us a little bit of co-contraction. We're getting a little bit of iliacus on the front side of the body, and that's where the psoas attaches to the pelvis. We're getting a little bit of hamstring, a little bit of posterior adductor, and glute. So we're just getting this activation on the front and activation on the back that's going to add stability to the pelvis in a decoupled position. So this movement right here becomes a very important movement. So the second part of that is to get onto all fours. Knees are balanced to start. Right and left hand directly under the shoulders. And we're just going to roll back and front. Let's take those knees a little bit wider, see if we can clear some space for the hips to get back further. And then let the hips drop just a little bit. 2, 3. From a head position, if you've ever ridden a bike or if you're a cyclist, let's keep those eyes gently looking down the road. So I don't want you hanging your head, okay? So head up in a position that you would be looking down the road and just keep rocking back and forth. Call this the frog. Knees are balanced. Good? All right, so now we're going to go forward, eyes are up. We're going to turn to the left and rotate that chest across and come back. And then we're going to turn to the right and rotate that chest across. So we're just going to alternate sides. Very subtle movement. 2, 2. Turn each direction. 3, 3. 4. So now we've got the upper body going. And 4, we're going to turn that frog with rotation into a frog with hip internal rotation. So when you come back, you're nice and balanced. When you come to the front, you turn your upper body to the left. Right leg is going to bend and just rotates and falls to the outside and come back. Upper body turns to the right. Left leg comes up and just kind of falls to the outside. Atomic frog. Upper body left, right leg bend, rotate into that. Forward, upper body turns to the right, left leg comes up and rotate into that. So we're starting to get some really nice internal rotation through the hips, through the pelvis, freeing up that pelvis nice and easy. Good. Let's go one more each side. Forward, turn to the right, left leg goes. Come on back, forward, turn to the left, right leg goes. All right, you can always play with that one a little bit later as well. Okay, so let's keep going with hip decoupling in the pelvis. And we're going to go low leg sweepers. We're starting that with a little bit of a penguin. So right hip penguin, low leg. So this toe is going to drag along the ground, drag all the way back to the middle. On the other side, we're going to go ahead and left penguin, roll the hips, take it all the way up. I have to bend just because of the wall. Ideally, that leg is straight. Come all the way back, right hip penguin, take it all the way up and all the way back. Left hip penguin, bring it all the way up and all the way back. We got 2 more each side. Right hip penguin, 1, left hip penguin. Keep that leg really low. We want to try and keep the hip flexor from firing. So that's why we're keeping that leg low. Right hip. Good. So if you're going here, as soon as I lift that leg, I'm getting a lot of activation of the hip flexor, which will inhibit some mobility through the pelvis. So as you penguin, just roll the hips and let it come up into that position gently. You get a lot less hip firing muscles, big muscles. You're firing little muscles, and then you end up getting more motion. Okay, let's keep going with this. We're going half kneeling, double arm overhead reach. So the hips are really starting to open up with everything we've done so far. So we've got right leg in front of left. First thing we're going to work on is just a little bit of knee over toe with the right side. Left side stays down and in. Right knee over toe. Left side stays down and in. 3. Chest stays nice and tall. 4. 5. 6. 7. Head position. Let's get a little bit of chin into throat. So we want to make sure that the back of the head is in alignment with the upper back. You don't want to be in this forward head position. So give you a little cue right now. Chin into throat. Good. And good. Right on. So you're never going to underestimate the fact that where your eyes are, your pelvis knows. So if your head is forward, you're going to immediately have a response down in the pelvis, which could be a negative response when it comes to glute activation and muscle function below the waist. All right? So head position really matters in everything. So we're going left leg. We're focusing on knee over toe, but we also want to focus on that head position. 2. 3. Same thing when you're out in your run today or your ride. 4. If you find yourself wanting to look like 2 feet in front of your feet, keep looking forward 8 to 10. That's always going to be a better position, and even better if you can look down the road a little bit. Don't worry about looking around unless you're in Colorado. The mountains are amazing. Good. Keep the chin into the throat. Good. Good. Knee way over toe. And definitely, in this half kneeling position, we deload the body a little bit. We unload it. So when you push into that big knee flexion, you might get some cracking and popping, but there's less tension in the body. So try to find ranges of motion that are maybe not the most comfortable for you or something you haven't practiced, and just kind of start working on them little by little. Be patient. This is a process, right? Okay, so let's get right leg in front of left. Double arm relax. Remember, we used to call this position the prisoner position. I don't like that name, so I call it double arm relax. All right, right leg in front of left. I cannot see my elbows. You do not want to see your elbows from this position. And all we're going to do is rotate towards the down leg, come back to center, and now towards the up leg, and come back. So we're just working rotation, trying to separate the upper and lower body. So as I rotate this way, I want my knee to stay straight, come back. As I rotate this way, I want my knee to stay straight. So you might have to hold it to the center, all right? Let's hit the other side. You don't need very many of those. We'll go 2 to 3 each side. Nice big breath, double arm relax, rotate away, As I go into that position, I get a little tug on the adductor, the inner thigh. Didn't have that on the other side. Rotate here, come back to the center, rotate into the lead leg. That seems to be better on that side. Come back, rotate away, come back. Keep those elbows back if you can. Back, rotate, and rotate. All right, we got one more for you. We're just gonna go into a little bit of half kneeling work here. Right leg is straight out, foot down there is nice and straight. We're gonna go from that long wing position, push the hips back into that founder, half kneeling founder. Elbows are low, hands and arms are providing a counterbalance, getting a little bit of glute activation and posterior fibers of that adductor magnus, which can tend towards inhibition because of tightness through that adductor group. So if the inner thigh gets tight and inactive, it is not strong. So right here, I'm kind of digging that I'm feeling that adductor, because that means for me, either A, I'm loosening it up because it'll no longer be tight and it'll show up today, or it's been working and I'm helping it recover. All right? Not really sure which. Left leg out, push that left hip back. Now on the left side, I get a little bit more tug through the middle of the adductor. 2, just paying attention, not giving it too much. 3, 4, head is strong, and 5. All right, guys, that's our 20 minutes mobility. We talked a little bit about the massage gun today. Definitely keep it out. My number one tip. You really can't do much wrong with this, except for maybe put it right on a bone and let it go to town. Don't overuse it because it can elevate your nervous system. I would say take it in 5 to 10 minute blocks at the most, right? Some of our audience here can tend towards overdo it. So keep it to short, maybe frequent short sessions rather than one big long session where you're just jamming your body. Your nervous system might go into overdrive. Have a happy Memorial Day if you're here in the United States. If you're a service member, thank you for your service. And we celebrate you guys all today. And peace and freedom around the entire world. May have a great day today. Thanks for coming and hanging out.